No moment in recent years had tested Venezuela's pride and power quite like this one. Warships moved beneath the Caribbean sun like predators circling their prey, their intentions hidden beneath waves and silence. The world called it tension, but those watching the radar knew it was a warning. Venezuela's Navy was no longer simply guarding its borders. It was drawing the attention of something far greater, something global. What set this chain of events in motion? And how far would the United States go to respond? Join us as we uncover the moment when the calm Caribbean became a chessboard of war. By mid-August 2025, the Caribbean seemed calm, but beneath that surface, something was shifting. Satellite feeds began revealing steady, deliberate movements across open waters, formations too organized to belong to smugglers. Fleets were taking shape, their purpose anything but routine. In Washington, tension had hardened. The United States had renewed its campaign of pressure against Venezuela, this time with a sharper edge. Officials accused Caracas of directing vast quantities of cocaine north through hidden maritime routes stretching from La Guaira to the Gulf of Paria. The accusations were familiar, but the U.S. response was not. This time, it was precise, methodical, and unmistakably forceful. Inside the Pentagon, political caution gave way to military planning. The mission was given a name: Operation Southern Sentinel. Officially, it was an interdiction campaign. Behind closed doors, however, a classified directive granted U.S. Southern Command limited authority to use force against transnational criminal networks across Latin America. Two names dominated the intelligence briefings: Cartel de los Soles, rumored to have deep roots within Venezuela's own military, and Tren de Aragua, a violent syndicate expanding rapidly across the region. For weeks, surveillance intensified. P-8 Poseidon patrol aircraft swept wide arcs over the Caribbean basin, their radar displays glowing with the restless patterns of hidden traffic. In fusion centers from Key West to Curaçao, analysts watched digital traces flicker, vessels shifting routes, sailing under false flags, weaving carefully around patrol zones. The data told a story of coordination, not chaos. High above, drones tracked civilian cargo ships that appeared and vanished from radar as if cloaked. Beneath the waves, sonar revealed silent escorts shadowing their every move. What once seemed like scattered smuggling operations had evolved into something far more structured. A disciplined network moving under the cover of regular trade, testing how far it could go before someone decided to stop it. When President Trump doubled the U.S. bounty on Nicolas Maduro to $50 million, the message was unmistakable. Diplomacy had ended, deterrence had begun. Within days, a U.S. carrier strike group assembled off Mayport, Florida, advancing through the Atlantic with deliberate precision. By late September, the buildup had reached its peak. 10 U.S. warships now formed the backbone of a powerful task force operating just beyond Venezuelan waters. Among them were the guided missile destroyers USS Gravely, USS Jason Dunham, USS Sampson, and USS Stockdale, the cruiser USS Lake Erie, the amphibious assault ship USS Iwo Jima, with its transport companions USS San Antonio and USS Fort Lauderdale, the fast attack submarine USS Newport News, the littoral combat ship USS Minneapolis St. Paul, and the special operations vessel MV Ocean Trader. According to the U.S. Naval Institute, it was the first full marine-embarked deployment from U.S. shores since December, a movement historian Alan McPherson described as the largest regional buildup in over 6 decades. The deployment soon met its first test. On September 14th, 2 Venezuelan F-16s made a low, aggressive pass over the USS Jason Dunham. The Pentagon condemned the action as highly provocative and swiftly redeployed 10 F-35 fighter jets and 2 MQ-9 Reaper drones to Puerto Rico as a deterrent. Tensions rose further when, on September 12th, Venezuela accused a U.S. destroyer of boarding a tuna fishing vessel carrying 9 crew members. Though the ship was released under Venezuelan naval escort, Caracas denounced the incident as a violation of international law. Days later, on September 17th, Venezuela launched large-scale naval and air exercises across the Caribbean, a show of readiness and a declaration that it would defend its sovereignty by force if necessary. By September 27th, as reports confirmed the deployment of the Special Operations Vessel MV Ocean Trader, The full scope of the mission had become clear. This was no symbolic gesture, no temporary show of strength. It was a coordinated operation meant to project power deep into the Caribbean and to send a message that America's patience with the narcotics trade had reached its end. Venezuelan radar detected the U.S. fleet long before it neared territorial waters. Within hours, state television aired satellite images of the advancing armada, branding it imperial intimidation. Behind the scenes, the Venezuelan Navy scrambled to respond. In Washington, officials spoke plainly. Secretary of State Marco Rubio accused Maduro of leading the Cartel de los Soles for more than a decade, calling his regime a narco-terror cartel responsible for shipping vast quantities of drugs into the United States. President Trump vowed to use every element of American power to stop the flow and bring those responsible to justice. According to the Department of Justice, Maduro's network had long relied on alliances with the FARC, Sinaloa, and the Cartel de los Soles to move cocaine, much of it laced with fentanyl northward. The DEA had seized more than 30 tons of cocaine linked to his associates, including 7 tons traced directly to Maduro himself, along with hundreds of millions of dollars in related assets. The confrontation that had been building for months was no longer theoretical. In Caracas, President Nicolas Maduro responded with defiance. He announced the mobilization of 4.5 million militia members, declaring them prepared, activated, and armed. His defense minister condemned the U.S. bounty on Maduro's head as illegal interference and a desperate act of aggression. Across the Caribbean, American destroyers carved through blue waters as Venezuelan forces handled their coastal defenses, both sides locked in a silent, volatile standoff. That silence broke in early September 2025. On September 2nd, Washington confirmed its first strike. A U.S. vessel had intercepted and destroyed a speedboat suspected of smuggling narcotics from Venezuela into the southern Caribbean. President Trump announced the attack from the White House, calling the target loaded with drugs bound for the United States. He said 11 members of the Venezuelan criminal group Tren de Aragua were eliminated in the operation. Secretary of State Marco Rubio described the vessel as belonging to a designated narco-terrorist organization and confirmed the order came directly from the president himself. But on the ground, the story looked different. Venezuelan media described the vessel as a 12-meter flipper boat with 4 engines that had left San Juan de Unare, Sucre State, en route to Trinidad and Tobago. 2 other boats reportedly escaped. Days later, residents mourned the deaths of 11 men, fishermen, brothers, and fathers, posting tributes and photos across social media. U.S. officials insisted 3 warnings had been issued, in English, Spanish, and Portuguese, before the strike. They claimed the crew tried to dump cargo overboard moments before being hit, either by a helicopter or an MQ-9 Reaper drone. Soon after, Trump released footage of the attack, a missile streaking through the night sky before engulfing the boat in flames. Officials said the vessel appeared to be turning back when it was struck. 2 weeks later, on September 15th, came another strike. A second boat, allegedly carrying narcotics from Venezuela, was destroyed, and 3 people were killed. Trump announced the operation on Truth Social, writing in capital letters, "Be warned. If you are transporting drugs that can kill Americans, we are hunting you." Behind the scenes, reports pointed to the newly empowered Homeland Security Council, led by Stephen Miller, as the driving force behind these authorizations. Even senior White House staff were said to have learned of the second strike only hours before it happened. The pattern was now unmistakable. On September 19th, another vessel was hit, this time affiliated with a designated terrorist organization. 3 more people died, and the Dominican Republic confirmed its cooperation in locating the target and recovering nearly a ton of cocaine from the wreckage. Then on October 3rd, a 4th strike near the Venezuelan coast killed 4 people. Senator Rubio claimed the vessel had been traveling along a known trafficking route toward U.S. waters. Colombia's president later said the dead were Colombian nationals, a claim Washington dismissed as baseless. But 2 U.S. officials quietly acknowledged that Colombians had indeed been aboard at least one of the targeted boats. 10 days later, after returning from Egypt, President Trump announced yet another attack in which 6 men were killed aboard a vessel off Venezuela's coast. Trinidad and Tobago soon launched an investigation after reports emerged that 2 of the victims were its citizens. By mid-October, the scale of the campaign was undeniable. One by one, smuggling boats tied to Venezuela's narcotics networks were being tracked, targeted, and destroyed. On October 16, Reuters reported an unannounced U.S. strike that left survivors for the first time. 2 people were rescued from the sea and detained aboard a U.S. Navy ship. 2 others were confirmed dead. Trump later described the target as a narco submarine. Weeks earlier, on October 1st, the president had formally notified Congress that the United States was now engaged in what he called a non-international armed conflict with unlawful combatants, specifically drug cartels operating across the Caribbean. The declaration placed every future strike under wartime authority, allowing the U.S. military to engage without warning or direct provocation. From that point, the operation entered a new phase. Special operations helicopters began flying within 90 miles of the Venezuelan coast, a signal that the conflict's boundaries were shifting. Soon after, the New York Times revealed that Trump had authorized covert CIA missions inside Venezuela itself. When questioned, Trump didn't deny it. He confirmed the report and admitted the White House was actively considering land strikes within Venezuelan territory. That same week, the Pentagon was shaken by another surprise. Admiral Alvin Holsey, head of U.S. Southern Command and the man overseeing the entire Caribbean buildup, abruptly resigned less than a year into his post. No explanation was given, but the timing sent shockwaves through Washington. The implications were clear. The United States appeared to be moving beyond interdiction. The pieces were falling into place for something far larger, perhaps even the removal of Nicolas Maduro himself. Maduro, defiant as ever, took to national television. "No to regime change," he declared, comparing the growing U.S. operations to the endless, failed wars of Afghanistan, Iraq, and Libya. He called up additional troops, expanded militia recruitment, and unleashed a storm of propaganda across state media. As tensions rise across the Caribbean, it becomes vital to understand the strength and purpose of the U.S. naval force now operating near Venezuela. The heart of this force lies with the Arleigh Burke-class guided missile destroyers, beginning with the USS Gravely. Stretching over 155 meters and displacing more than 9,000 tons when fully loaded, Gravely is a fortress at sea. Powered by 4 General Electric LM 2,500 gas turbines producing nearly 100,000 shaft horsepower, she can reach speeds exceeding 30 knots while sustaining long deployments far from home. Her true power, however, comes from the Aegis Combat System, a fully integrated command, control, and weapon network linked to the Mk-41 vertical launch system. This enables Gravely to deploy an array of missiles: Tomahawk land attack cruise missiles, standard SM-2 and SM-6 interceptors, and Asherock anti-submarine weapons. Supported by 2 SH-60 Seahawk helicopters, the destroyer can strike, defend, and hunt simultaneously. In any confrontation near Venezuela, Gravely forms a multi-layered defense and offense network. She can intercept aircraft, engage hostile ships, track submarines, and conduct precision strikes deep inland. A single salvo of Tomahawks could disable coastal radar or missile batteries within minutes, asserting dominance without setting foot ashore. The USS Jason Dunham, another Arleigh Burke destroyer, mirrors Gravely's design and mission. Equipped with the identical radar arrays, vertical launch systems, and electronic countermeasures, Dunham adds redundancy and depth to the task force's strike and defense capability. Together, these ships provide overlapping radar coverage and integrated missile defense, ensuring that any act of aggression can be countered instantly. Supporting them are 2 additional Arleigh Burke destroyers, the USS Sampson and USS Stockdale, which extend the fleet's operational footprint. Carrying similar armaments, Tomahawk cruise missiles, Harpoon anti-ship weapons, and advanced sonar systems, they enhance the task group's endurance and flexibility across multiple threat environments. If the destroyers are the fleet's cutting edge, then the USS Lake Erie, a Ticonderoga-class guided missile cruiser, serves as its command backbone. Commissioned in 1993 but continually upgraded, Lake Erie boasts a 122-cell vertical launch system, one of the largest in the U.S. surface fleet, loaded with Tomahawks, SM series interceptors, and evolved Sea Sparrow missiles for close defense. Her powerful Aegis radar can track hundreds of targets simultaneously, coordinating ballistic missile defense and air command for the entire group. In essence, Lake Erie acts as the nerve center, integrating data from satellites, aircraft, and destroyers into a unified combat picture. Leading the amphibious contingent is the USS Iwo Jima, a Wasp-class amphibious assault ship that functions as an aircraft carrier, troop transport, and command hub. Displacing more than 40,000 tons, Iwo Jima carries a mix of helicopters, MV-22B Osprey tiltrotors, and occasionally AV-8B Harriers or F-35B Lightning II jets. Her well deck can launch landing craft, hovercraft, and amphibious vehicles, enabling Marines to land directly on hostile shores. Operating as the flagship, Iwo Jima leads a group that includes the USS San Antonio and USS Fort Lauderdale, both San Antonio-class amphibious transport docks. These ships form the logistical and operational backbone of the amphibious ready group. Each vessel can carry hundreds of Marines, armored vehicles, and landing craft, while also serving as a command center for amphibious and humanitarian missions. Their extensive medical, communication, and repair facilities allow the task group to operate autonomously for extended periods, effectively functioning as a floating expeditionary base. Supporting the heavy ships is the Freedom-class littoral combat ship USS Minneapolis-St. Paul, designed for high-speed, close-to-shore operations. Smaller and faster than the destroyers, it specializes in mine countermeasures, anti-submarine warfare, and surface combat. With modular systems, a top speed exceeding 40 knots, and the ability to deploy drones and helicopters, it is ideal for patrolling Venezuela's complex coastline, interdicting smugglers, or tracking fast attack craft. The ship bridges the gap between heavy combatants and on-the-ground missions, combining agility with advanced technology. Perhaps the most discreet yet pivotal asset is the MV Ocean Trader, a converted commercial ship transformed into a special warfare support vessel. Modified to host roughly 200 personnel, including about 150 special operations troops, it features a helicopter deck, small boat launch facilities, and a full command suite. Ocean Trader serves as a sea-based staging platform for Navy SEALs, Marine Raiders, and other covert units, capable of launching reconnaissance, boarding, and interdiction missions along hostile shorelines. Its mobility and low profile make it hard to track, adding a layer of unpredictability to U.S. operations. Together, these vessels form a multi-domain force. The destroyers and cruisers dominate the air and strike domains. The amphibious group projects troops and logistics ashore. The littoral combat ship secures coastal zones. An Ocean Trader enables covert special operations. Collectively, they give the United States overwhelming control of the Caribbean battle space and the ability to respond to any threat within hours. Opposite this formidable armada stands the Venezuelan Navy, a force smaller and less advanced, yet structured around a blend of conventional defense and asymmetric warfare. The most capable Venezuelan surface combatant is the ARV Almirante Brion, part of the Mariscal Sucre class, based on Italy's Lupo-class design. Acquired in the early 1980s, these frigates were meant to give Venezuela a credible surface fleet. Each carries anti-ship missiles, medium-caliber naval guns, and a suite of anti-air and anti-surface sensors. When operational, they can pose a genuine threat to enemy ships near Venezuelan waters, especially when coordinated with coastal missile or air defense systems. Yet their effectiveness has waned. Aging hulls, limited funding, and international sanctions have restricted maintenance and spare parts, leaving operational readiness uncertain. The Sucre-class ships remain potent symbols of national defense, but their combat availability is likely limited. Modernization efforts have focused instead on offshore patrol vessels suited for littoral operations. Chief among these is the ARV Guayquerí of the Avante 2200 class, a 2,400-ton, 99-meter vessel built for extended patrols across Venezuela's exclusive economic zone. Armed with a 76mm OTO Malera gun, a 35mm Oerlikon cannon, and advanced Smart-S radar, the Guayquerí class excels at surveillance, anti-smuggling, and coastal defense. However, its modest weapon load limits its ability to face major warships head-on. The ARV Guaycamacuto class, smaller at around 1,700 tons, fulfills similar roles in coastal patrol and interdiction. Effective for monitoring nearby waters and intercepting small craft, these ships lack the endurance and armament for sustained open-sea warfare. Like the rest of the fleet, they struggle with maintenance and readiness due to resource constraints. Venezuela's most potent deterrent lies beneath the surface. Two German-built Type 209-1300 submarines, the S-31 Sabalo and S-32 Caribe. When operational, these diesel-electric subs can operate silently, ambushing surface ships or monitoring choke points undetected. In theory, they could challenge any surface fleet entering Venezuelan waters. In practice, however, both submarines have faced chronic maintenance delays and spare parts shortages, casting doubt on their ability to deploy effectively. To offset these limitations, Venezuela has increasingly embraced asymmetric naval tactics. Reports indicate the acquisition or testing of Iranian-designed Paykop-3 fast-attack missile boats, capable of reaching speeds over 50 knots and carrying anti-ship missiles with ranges up to 90 kilometers. These small, fast vessels exploit Venezuela's shallow coastlines and island channels, conducting hit-and-run, swarm attacks that could overwhelm enemy sensors and defenses. While highly mobile and difficult to target, such craft lack armor, range, and electronic support. Their main strength lies in surprise and numbers, not endurance. Against a high-tech fleet like the U.S. Navy's, they would be outmatched in open combat, but could still complicate operations near shorelines or choke points. Beyond combat ships, Venezuela maintains a modest force of Coast Guard vessels, patrol craft, and naval aviation units tasked with sovereignty enforcement, anti-smuggling, and coastal monitoring. While not designed for sustained warfare, these platforms provide surveillance coverage and serve as early warning assets for larger naval or air defense units. Given its limited resources, Venezuela's best defense lies in asymmetry and geography. Its coastline, with its islands, peninsulas, and shallow waters, offers natural cover and choke points ideal for ambush and defense. In March 2025, the United States Navy pointed the bow of some of its behemoth warships, including the USS Iwo Jima assault ship, which also functions as an aircraft carrier, towards the Venezuelan water space with its intentions still unknown to the public. How will Venezuela react to the appearance of this titan? Could there be a possible war on the horizon? Join us as we discuss the sudden appearance of America's $13.2 billion aircraft carrier in Venezuelan waters. The United States has been at the pinnacle of military technology since time immemorial, with the continuous attribution of some of the greatest inventions to it. While they have shown inventiveness and guile, they have also reflected their ability to go to war should the need arise. Although some countries have been compelled to form alliances with the United States due to its military prowess, others remain on opposite sides, continuing to disagree on political issues and transnational interests. The possibility of war remains on the horizon. As the international relations with some countries continue to be difficult, the United States has continued to shield and protect its territories by setting up some of the most highly guarded defenses of all time across the land, the seas, and the air, with inventions that strike fear right into the hearts of a neighboring nation harboring intentions of harm towards the United States. While these defensive measures have been labeled as effective, have they entirely put a stop to foreign threats? Although the United States intelligence has created a reputation that breathes a rethink into any opposing forces, there is a continuous effort from the cartels of several countries seeking ways into the United States to break through these defenses, but mostly by stealth rather than all-out war, which they are sure to lose. While the United States Army, the Drug Enforcement Agency, or DEA, and the Immigration and Customs Enforcement, popularly called ICE, have been tasked by the United States to oversee the actions of these opposing forces on land and deal with the threats by whatever means necessary, the cartels have grown even smarter and better at their trade than in past decades. In recent times, the United States has gathered strong intelligence on cartels from South America, like the Jalisco New Generation Cartel, the Knight Templar Cartel, and the Sinaloa Cartel, which trade in cocaine, methamphetamine, opioids, humans, and weapons trafficking. Owing to the strict restrictions that have been put in place on the United States-Mexico border, where most of the cartel members have been apprehended, they have resorted to using the open seas. While the rationale appears basic, it was somewhat understandable. Defending a large body of water where numerous ships travel is difficult for any nation's military intelligence, regardless of the size and the technology available to them. While there has been some recorded success from the government of the United States, where the Coast Guard has successfully apprehended vessels carrying precursors for creating some of the most radical drugs in the narcotics pipeline, especially for the Sinaloa cartel, there remains an apparent continuity in production, meaning that they might have cut off a vast supply. Still, a considerable sum has also slipped past them at sea. But what solutions could be more effective to capture a bigger part of these maritime missions? The United States developed sea behemoths, titans that look like floating cities, bossing the ocean from coast to coast. For some context, the United States commissioned the USS Iwo Jima into the United States Navy in 2001 and sent it out on the Atlantic Ocean as a representative of the naval strength of the United States. Although the USS Iwo Jima was designed as a Wasp-class amphibious assault ship of the United States Navy, the consistent chase of narco vessels, including submarines and go-fast boats, created the need for a faster vessel that could take on these boats and also deploy airstrikes when needed. While the United States Maritime Forces, including the Coast Guard, the Customs and Border Patrol, and ultimately the United States Navy, have been hot on the trail of opposing maritime forces and subduing them using whatever means necessary, they have the support of other countries like the United Kingdom, Russia, and sometimes Mexico, providing intelligence on how and when to strike the drug vessels that come from different countries once they detect their vessels on their radar. However, Mexico's support has been inconsistent over the years, with changes in government leading to changes in its approach to international relations. For some context, Andrés Manuel López Obrador, popularly called AMLO, voiced his complaint about the United States, accusing it of overreaching and defying the sovereignty of Mexico, using the Mérida Initiative as an excuse to take Mexican lives instead of re-educating them and rooting out the real cause of the drug trade, particularly poverty. In return, the United States government accused the Mexican government of not doing enough. Washington believed that the Mexican government chose to hide intelligence about specific locations and the workflow of the cartels existing within their country in a bid to protect its sovereignty and stop the United States from using the Mérida Initiative as a trigger to bypass sovereign laws and fracture their international relationship in the process. Following the change in government in both countries, with Donald Trump as President of the United States and Claudia Sheinbaum as President of Mexico, both countries are once again back on track. Although the Mérida Initiative has been largely abandoned, the Mexican government has agreed to continue sharing intelligence with the United States, provided that it is kept informed about how the operation is conducted. In September 2025, the United States Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, met with the representatives of Mexico in a meeting where they discussed the reciprocity of cooperation in matters of security, which will be based on respect for sovereignty and territorial integrity, reaffirming there. Both governments have created a high-level implementation group that will meet regularly to follow up on joint commitments and actions undertaken within their own countries, including measures to combat cartels, strengthen security at the border, eliminate clandestine trans-border tunnels, address the issue of illicit financial flows, improve collaboration to prevent fuel theft, and increase inspections, investigations, and legal processes to stop the flow of arms and drug trafficking. With the Mexican government's recognition of its status as a narco-state, reaching an agreement and cooperating with the United States required some compromise on some of its tightest laws, which was not too difficult. While the Mexican government continues to provide support for the United States Colombia, popular for its cocaine and weapons trafficking, which is often ferried through the Mexican cartels, who then send their carriers into the United States, has decided to join forces with the United States. Although Colombia's support seems at its strongest in recent years, it started a long time ago, particularly in the 90s. The United States had created an initiative called Plan Colombia, which oversaw the consistent billions of dollars being sent to Colombia to help fight against the continuous rise in cocaine trafficking. The official objective was to end the Colombian armed conflict by increasing funding and training of Colombian military and paramilitary forces and creating an anti-cocaine strategy to eradicate coca cultivation. The plan was solid and it provided serious results, as the cocaine production in Colombia dropped well over 70% between 2001 and 2012. While the plan worked until 2016, when both nations came to an agreement of not needing it anymore, Colombia, with the help of the United States, held a peace agreement referendum, which terminated the conflict with the Revolutionary Armed Forces of Colombia, a Marxist-Leninist group that wanted full control of Colombia and its resources, especially coca, the plant used to create cocaine. Supporters of the plan in the United States Congress asserted that over 1,300 square kilometers of mature coca were sprayed and eradicated in Colombia in 2003, which would have prevented the production of over 500 metric tons of cocaine. This plan eliminated over $100 million of the illegal income that supports drug dealers and different illegal organizations in the United States, who are funded by that cash flow. While Plan Colombia was functioning, Colombia became the United States' greatest ally in South America, with extradition going up 1,000-fold, and the left-wing insurgents were finally dealt with. However, it wasn't long after the end of the Plan Colombia initiative before the guerrillas took control of the coca plantations and operated in the jungle, protected by armed men while they cultivated coca. The United States described the Colombian government as not doing enough to curb the sudden surge of coca cultivation, which has increased the percentage of cocaine being moved inside the United States, increasing the odds of addiction to the narcotic substance in the United States. While the tension between the two countries rose to a fever pitch, it wasn't long before they found a compromise, and yet again, they returned to collaborating and exchanging intelligence about the cartels. However, as much as Bogotá and the Mexican governments worked to reduce the flow of drug trafficking, human trafficking, and weapons trafficking in South America, there is one country in South America that provides no support or displays any sort of interest in the United States' desperate attempts to stop the flow of drugs and weapons into the country, and that country is Venezuela. Over the years, Caracas and Washington have been at odds over the possibility of cooperation between the two countries. The sovereign state of Venezuela has always considered the United States as imperialists, who are only capable of colonization and taking what they want by force. However, it all dates back to Hugo Chavez, who rose to power in the late 1990s and built a revolution so powerful that even the United States government could not control it. He built the popular Bolivarian Revolution in Venezuela on a mandate that declared the United States an enemy of the state, which only wants control of Venezuelan oil. He was quick to reel the world in, letting them know that he had taken a stance in Latin America against the United States, a far cry from the cooperative Colombia and Mexico, which share valuable intelligence with the United States about the presence of the cartels in their respective countries. As expected, he had the backing of Russia, China, and Cuba, three sovereign states that had been in natural opposition to the United States since time immemorial. When Hugo Chavez died in 2013, the United States tried another attempt at getting Venezuela to enter into an agreement quite similar to that of Colombia and Mexico, where they have a joint task force and shared intelligence on the cartels while strategizing a takedown. However, Nicolas Maduro, who took over Chavez's regime, kicked against the idea. Hence, the United States imposed sanctions on Venezuela's oil assets and imposed restrictions on their banking systems, pushing the country further into creating more diplomatic ties with foreign countries, especially Russia, on whom they depended for weapons, China, on whom the Venezuelan government relied for loans, and Iraq, on whom they depended for weapons. These continuous restrictions on Venezuela created a seemingly permanent torn rift between them and the United States. By mid-2010s, the United States government had deemed Venezuela a narco-state, especially because of a perceived indulgence of a notorious drug cartel called the Cartel of the Sun. The cartel became dangerously described as the most volatile and strategic in South America, especially because the Venezuelan borders were so easily bypassed. The rationale behind the United States government's decision on Venezuela comes from the country's position in the Caribbean and how lax its security measures are. For some context, Venezuela sits just east of Colombia, the country that mass produces the highest amount of cocaine in the world. Hence, with relaxed security of its borders, the cartels could simply ferry their narcotics to the Dominican Republic, Africa, Europe, and all over the world, almost without any consequences. While the United States has tried to fix the relationship between the two countries, the Venezuelan government only sees the United States as colonialists who are trying to get all of Latin America under their control. Hence, the United States chose to strike again in March 2020, accusing Nicolas Maduro Moros and 14 other leaders of Venezuela of narco-terrorism, corruption, drug trafficking, and other criminal charges. The United States alleged that the Venezuelan government officials partnered with the Fuerzas Armadas Revolucionarias de Colombia, or FARC, to use cocaine as a weapon to flood the United States. According to United States Attorney General Barr, for more than 20 years, Maduro and several high-ranking colleagues allegedly conspired with the Colombian leftists, causing tons of cocaine to enter and devastate American communities. Hence, the allegation is focused on rooting out the extensive corruption within the Venezuelan government, which he described as a system constructed and controlled to enrich those at the highest levels of the government. The United States will not allow these corrupt Venezuelan officials to use the United States banking system to move their illicit proceeds from South America, nor further their criminal schemes, Barr declared. Although there is no obvious evidence that points to Nicolas Maduro as being culpable for the allegations levied against him, the United States government continued to try to make the allegations stick and possibly go to trial. However, they found nothing to make it stick. Following the allegations, the relationship got even worse between both nations, with Venezuela being the only narco state whose government is not in alliance with the United States and is also unwilling to give up valuable intelligence about their sea routes or whatever vessel that comes up on their radar. Owing to the restrictions placed on the country by the United States, Venezuela has become a narco state. Furthermore, they use the cartel of the Suns to help prop up the Maduro government and the Venezuelan economy. Within this system, the regime rewards loyalty through assignment to regions known to offer a wealth of opportunities for enrichment through drug trafficking and other criminal opportunities that can be achieved through smuggling or trafficking. Furthermore, they use their military to participate in drug trafficking in 4 key ways. The most common way is simply to take payoffs to turn a blind eye to or guarantee impunity for trafficking operations, or through military cells creating free movement corridors for traffickers, which can be aerial, for example, by turning off radars to allow drug flights to pass or providing special codes for the flight to be registered as legal. Terrestrial, for example, by facilitating passage through networks of checkpoints. Or maritime, which could be handled by halting patrols at certain times to allow drug boats to pass without any form of hindrance. However, the United States has finally had enough. Hence, they decided to unleash their naval and air superiority worth over $13 billion on the shores of Venezuela. The day was September 3, 2025, when the Trump administration decided to dispatch warships, including assets like the USS San Antonio, USS Iwo Jima, USS Fort Lauderdale, and reportedly the USS Lake Erie, USS Gravely, and USS Jason Dunham. It was no longer a litigious battle. The time for discussion was over. The United States had now decided to act on the intelligence that was gathered by the Drug Enforcement Agency and other bodies involved in the war on drugs. The warships were dispatched to counter threats posed by the criminal organizations operating in the region. For some context, the United States never used military forces against drug cartels, as they were not considered foreign terrorist organizations. However, since the start of the Donald Trump administration in 2025, the United States in January of the same year finally decided on designating cartels as foreign terrorist organizations, meaning that the United States had the license to unleash the full power of its military. In addition to the warships, one of which included the USS Iwo Jima, a warship capable of carrying a mix of aircraft like helicopters and fighter jets like the F-35 Lightning II, Pentagon also gave the green light to dispatch 1 nuclear-powered fast-attack submarine with more than 4,500 sailors and Marines on board the vessels with only one goal: taking down a representative of the drug economy of Venezuela. President Donald Trump released a video showing that the vessel was smuggling drugs out of Venezuela for the Tren de Aragua gang. According to the Chief of Armed Forces social media post, the missile, which is suspected to be an AGM-114 Hellfire missile, took out 11 people who were on the vessel. The vessel, which appears to be a go-fast boat, was a familiar play from the Mexican cartel playbooks. Hence, the United States had enough intelligence on it. After the strike, the United States president posted a very strong message online to the Venezuelan cartels and others around the world. No U.S. forces were harmed in this strike. Please let this serve as notice to anybody even thinking about bringing drugs into the United States of America. Beware, the president said. As expected, the news had reached the Venezuelan president, Maduro, who has now criticized the United States' use of military forces in their waters, despite the restriction that comes with such actions without consulting the affected country beforehand. He claims that the United States is on the cusp of setting a precedent for war, and he will be prepared to retaliate in kind if the United States continues to bombard their shores. He further claims that the United States is trying to topple his government, forcing a regime change through military interference. Venezuela is confronting the biggest threat that has been seen on our continent in the last 100 years. If Venezuela were attacked, we would immediately move to armed struggle in defense of our territory, he said, pledging to declare a republic in arms. With the fires of war stoked between the two sovereign states, it remains to be seen if it ends in an all-out war or peace talks. In an unexpected turn of events, one of the United States Navy's most formidable billion-dollar warships was under attack. This exceptional war vessel, which is renowned for its agility, speed, better maneuverability, and resilience against damage, was recently attacked by pirates. While this sounds like a scene from a movie, this event, however, recently played out on the high seas. This shocking event has aroused curiosity and raised several questions. How did these modern-day pirates have the courage to attack such a strong naval force? How did this event play out? Join us as we delve into the shocking situation surrounding the pirate attack on a United States $70 billion Navy ship. Pirates are not just fictional characters from old stories. In fact, they are real and still as dangerous as they were back in the day. In the golden age of piracy during the 16th and the 17th centuries, many Europeans turned to piracy to escape poverty. These feared groups have been around since ancient times, threatening the trade routes of ancient Greece and stealing grain and olive oil from Roman ships. The Vikings were the most widespread pirates in early medieval Europe. Many of the most well-known pirates were feared and showed their scary reputation by flying creepy flags, like the Jolly Roger with its skull and crossbones. Captives were often said to be made to walk the plank, though this wasn't as common in reality. Most victims were probably just thrown overboard. Between 1650 and 1720, thousands of pirates were active, and this period is often called the Golden Age of piracy. Famous pirates from this time include Henry Morgan, William Captain Kidd, Calico Jack Rackham, Bartholomew Roberts, and the infamous Blackbeard. Although this golden age ended in the 18th century, piracy still exists today in some areas, especially the South China Seas. Why did people become pirates? In England, social changes and unfavorable conditions forced many small farmers and tradesmen out of work due to large landowners and businesses taking over. These displaced people moved to cities in search of greener pastures. But the situation remained the same. In London, there was overcrowding and unemployment, and there wasn't enough money to support the poor. People had to find their own ways to survive. They weren't just poor, they had no hope for a better life. Piracy attracted poor sailors because it offered a way to take control of their lives. In a time when few people traveled and young men often had to work long apprenticeships before becoming independent, many were already tempted by the tough life at sea. Young boys could get jobs on ships and make money before they were fully grown because agility was as important as strength. However, ordinary sailors worked hard for low wages and had to follow strict rules. In contrast, piracy offered a chance to get rich quickly and to have power over others. One frightening punishment for pirates was being marooned, left alone on a deserted island with some food, water, and a loaded gun, forcing them to make a tough choice. Modern pirates are different. Instead of swords, they use guns and rocket launchers. Piracy has gone up 75% in the last 10 years, with waters near Somalia being especially risky. These pirates use fast boats, fake distress signals, and tricks to get up close to big ships. Once on board, they want ransom money, sometimes in the millions. The absence of any government-run naval authority along the Somali coast was causing problems, especially in 2006. Some pirate groups, led by local warlords, started capturing merchant ships to demand ransoms for the ships and their crews. As these raids succeeded, the pirates grew more daring and they began hijacking United Nations aid ships and even tried to take over a cruise liner for ransom. In response, U.S. and coalition ships from Combined Task Force 150 started actively chasing after pirate vessels to stop these attacks. One can probably tell by now the fight against piracy is a joint effort, and the U.S. Navy plays a big role in it. Despite all efforts made by the U.S. Navy, some encounters with pirates turn out to be rather unideal. One shocking event occurred on March 18, 2006, when the Ticonderoga-class guided missile cruiser USS Cape St. George, or CG-71, and the Arleigh Burke-class guided missile destroyer USS Gonzales, or DDG-66, were both on a critical mission as part of Task Force 150, standing as a resolute deterrent against the scourge of piracy. In a shocking encounter that occurred on the waters off the coast of Somalia, the United States Navy found itself locked in a life-or-death struggle against a brazen band of armed pirates. On this day, the destroyer USS Gonzales spotted a suspicious vessel, a large diesel-powered skiff, towing two smaller gasoline-powered skiffs, about 25 nautical miles off the Somali coast. Recognizing the typical pirate setup, USS Gonzales, with USS Cape St. George approaching from 40 miles away, followed the suspects through the night. Just before sunrise, both American ships deployed teams in rigid inflatable boats to investigate. The boarding attempt was quickly halted when pirates opened fire from very close range, leading the boats to return fire and pull back. The pirates pursued the boarding teams and then fired rocket-propelled grenades and small arms at the Navy ships. With the distance too close for major weapon systems, the American ships used small-caliber guns to retaliate. A 50-caliber tracer round from USS Gonzales hit a fuel drum on the pirate skiff, causing a fire that destroyed the larger skiff. The two smaller skiffs, seeing the flames, surrendered to USS Cape St. George. By the end of the confrontation, at least one pirate was confirmed dead, and 12 pirates, including 5 wounded, were captured. A spokesperson for the Somali pirate militia claimed that 27 pirates had been sent out as Coast Guardsmen for the largely lawless region. USS Cape St. George sustained minor damage, but no United States forces were injured. After the fight, the Dutch support ship HNLMS Amsterdam came to help with medical care for the injured. The two U.S. ships then went back to their mission. The United States government decided not to prosecute the captured pirates for piracy. Instead, they were sent back home over a few months, with some needing special medical care on U.S. and coalition warships due to their injuries. Another event occurred on November 26, when 5 Somali pirates boarded the MV Central Park while it was sailing through the Gulf of Aden, trying to hijack the tanker. However, nearly 24 crew members managed to lock themselves in a secure room called the Citadel, which is designed to protect them during pirate attacks. The Central Park sent out a distress signal, prompting the USS Mason and a Japanese warship to come to the rescue. When they arrived, they demanded that the pirates release the vessel. The pirates tried to escape in a small boat, but an MH-60 helicopter from the Mason chased them down and fired warning shots to stop them. The sailors from the Mason boarded the boat, searched it, and detained the pirates. This was the first time in 5 years that a Navy VBSS operation led to the capture of pirates. With the pirates secured, the Mason then helped the crew in the Central Park. The pirates had damaged the Citadel's door so badly that it couldn't be opened from either side. The American sailors had to find extra tools to break in and rescue the crew, who would have been trapped in the room otherwise. Soon after, the Mason detected incoming anti-ship ballistic missiles. It's not clear if the missiles were aimed specifically at the coalition ships, the Central Park, or if it was a separate issue. The missiles eventually landed in the water several miles away. After the water became calm, Smith, one of the crew, felt reassured and confident in the fact that the Mason's training and ability to detect threats were effective. He also noted that the missiles were a chance for the Navy to test and improve its readiness for future situations. Soon after the Central Park incident, Anti-ship ballistic missiles became a familiar threat to Navy warships defending merchant shipping lanes in the Red Sea and Gulf of Aden. For the pirates, the defeat, however, did not dissuade them from their activities. And the shocking part is that pirates are constantly evolving their tactics. They employ various strategies to maximize their success and evade detection. These emerging tactics include the use of motherships to extend their reach. They also hijack fishing vessels for piracy operations, take advantage of the jurisdictional challenges in international waters, and even hack into shipping company systems to gather intelligence or disrupt operations. The pirates are indeed a threat that needs to be eradicated to ensure the safety of vessels. Even though naval operations are the main way to fight piracy in the Gulf of Aden and the Arabian Sea, it is becoming clear that they are not enough on their own. The area where Somali pirates operate is so large that it's hard for naval ships to cover it all effectively. With about 25 naval ships patrolling over 1.1 million square nautical miles, each ship handles around 44,000 square miles. Pirates often move to areas that aren't being patrolled when naval forces are around. Understanding the challenges, a range of exciting new strategies to fight piracy have been put forward. Some of these new strategies involve the use of drones, providing round-the-clock surveillance from the sky, or sophisticated financial tracking tools that follow the money trail to cut off pirate funding. Plus, cracking down on convicted pirates with strict penalties serves as a powerful warning to others. The United States Navy is also leading the charge with unmanned surface vehicles that glide across the water on their own, programmed to patrol and perform tasks without a crew. These advanced approaches are set to enhance maritime security and stay one step ahead of pirates. Fighting piracy is quite hard. There are Navy patrols and onboard security, but most sailors finish their trip safely. With pirates posing a grave threat to maritime trade and the safety of seafarers, the U.S. Navy has developed a multifaceted approach to combat this age-old scourge. One of the main tactics the Navy uses against threats is non-lethal deterrence. A common non-lethal weapon in the maritime industry is the water cannon, which works well against pirates. This device shoots a strong stream of water, stopping pirates from boarding merchant ships. It can also quickly fill pirate boats with water, making it hard for them to move. Another important strategy that is used by the United States Navy is enhanced ship hardening. This means naval and commercial ships are equipped with physical defenses to make it harder for pirates to board. These defenses include razor wire, anti-climbing barriers, reinforced doors, and fortified safe rooms, which create tough obstacles for pirates trying to get on board and steal valuable cargo. The U.S. Navy also promotes best management practices in the shipping industry. These practices include keeping ships moving at high speeds, running anti-piracy drills, having lookouts, and having plans for safe rooms. Following these guidelines would help ships be better prepared and less likely to be attacked by pirates. A fascinating aspect of the U.S. Navy's anti-piracy efforts is the use of aerial surveillance. Helicopters and unmanned aerial vehicles are deployed to scan vast ocean areas, spot suspicious activities, and relay real-time information to naval ships and maritime authorities. This high-tech eye in the sky boosts situational awareness, allowing the Navy to respond swiftly to pirate threats and effectively position its assets. Equally important is the Navy's commitment to collaborative information sharing. By actively participating in initiatives like the Maritime Security Center Horn of Africa and the International Maritime Bureau's Piracy Reporting Center, the Navy exchanges vital intelligence, incident reports, and piracy trends with international partners. This cooperation builds a comprehensive picture of piracy activities, helping everyone prepare for and respond to potential threats more effectively. The U.S. Navy also focuses on helping regions prone to piracy. They run training programs, joint exercises, and provide equipment and resources to improve the abilities of local navies and coast guards. This teamwork makes regional forces stronger, enabling them to fight piracy in their own waters and create a safer maritime environment. Additionally, the Navy works hard to raise public awareness about piracy and educate mariners on best practices. They share information through websites, publications, and outreach programs, giving mariners the knowledge they need to reduce the risk of pirate attacks and stay safe. These tactics and strategies make up the U.S. Navy's smart and flexible approach to fighting piracy. Alongside the Navy, important organizations like the International Maritime Bureau play a key role. The IMB tracks and reports piracy incidents worldwide, giving valuable insights to governments and authorities. The United Nations has also stepped up with the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, which sets up a global legal framework to tackle piracy. UNCL requires countries to work together to catch and prosecute pirates, no matter where they are from or where their crimes occur. And then there's Combined Task Force 150, or CTF 150. This multinational naval task force works under the Combined Maritime Forces and focuses on improving maritime security in the Gulf of Aden, the Arabian Sea, and the Indian Ocean. CTF 150 tackles terrorism, piracy, and smuggling while promoting a safe maritime environment. Various countries contribute warships, aircraft, and personnel to this task force, working together to patrol, survey, and respond to threats in these important waters. Also, a USV, or unmanned surface vehicle, can be used to patrol an area almost all the time, allowing it to quickly respond and warn ships before pirates attack. The electronic data collected by USVs can help naval units at sea and be used in legal cases later. This reduces risk to human personnel as USVs operate in high-risk areas, allowing operators to maintain a safe distance from potential pirate encounters and mitigating the risk of harm or hostage situations. Equipped with various sensors, cameras, and surveillance systems that enable them to gather real-time information and imagery, the collected data can be transmitted back to a control center for analysis and decision-making. Plus, the U.S. Navy utilizes advanced sonar systems for underwater surveillance and detection. These systems can detect submerged threats, such as pirate divers or underwater vehicles. Above all, the U.S. Navy makes use of power projection as an important tool in combating piracy. By maintaining a visible presence in piracy-prone regions, the Navy serves as a deterrent to potential pirates. The deployment of warships, aircraft, and other assets showcases the Navy's readiness to respond swiftly and decisively to pirate threats, discouraging pirate activities through the perceived risk involved. This proactive approach helps to prevent attacks before they occur and contributes to the overall reduction of piracy incidents. Power projection enables the U.S. Navy to respond quickly to piracy incidents. With ships placed strategically, the Navy can swiftly intercept and stop pirate activities, offering crucial support to threatened vessels. By boarding and capturing suspicious ships, the Navy disrupts pirate networks and helps prosecute those involved. The Navy's aircraft, including those on carriers and patrol planes, provide valuable aerial support through surveillance and reconnaissance. This helps the Navy stay aware of pirate activities and respond effectively and promptly. The connection between piracy and environmental issues is also significant, particularly concerning maritime activities and their impact on ecosystems. Pirates often resort to unsustainable and destructive fishing practices that decimate fish populations. Meanwhile, pirate vessels also regularly pollute the ocean through oil spills and chemical discharges, poisoning marine life and habitats. Plus, when pirates anchor in sensitive areas like coral reefs, they destroy these fragile ecosystems that support maritime biodiversity and coastal resilience. The United States Navy is also working to reduce the environmental damage caused by piracy. Along with tackling pirates at sea, Navy patrols aim to stop illegal activities that harm the ocean and destroy delicate marine habitats. By securing coastlines and key shipping routes, the Navy supports sustainable fishing, shipping, and offshore resource extraction, all of which rely on healthy oceans. In protecting marine environments from pirates, the Navy helps preserve biodiversity, strengthen coastal areas, and support sustainable economies, benefiting not just the U.S. but the whole world. The Navy's mission goes beyond protecting ships. It also involves caring for the health of the seas. This country is deeply committed to keeping the seas safe and secure. Its Navy takes a strong stand against piracy, actively participating in global operations like Combined Task Force 150. This effort is crucial in deterring and battling piracy in high-risk areas. The Navy's effort remains obvious with the deployment of ships like the USS Howard, which helps protect hijacked vessels such as the MV Fana. By staying alert and working with international partners, the U.S. Navy shows its unwavering resolve to defend global maritime trade, ensure the safety of sailors, and uphold maritime security principles. Also, the Gulf of Guinea has been a hotspot for maritime crime and piracy for a while. However, in 2021, the number of these incidents, including violent ship boardings and crew kidnappings for ransom, has dropped a lot. This decrease is good news, but some people now say the risk to commercial operations in the area has also gone down. It's important for businesses in the Gulf of Guinea to make decisions based on risks, so sudden changes in incident data need to be looked at closely. Simple analysis of maritime security data shows that the drop in incidents might be weak and based on loosely connected actions, suggesting that the belief in reduced threat because of fewer incidents is fragile. The United States created a weapon so strong, it doesn't need explosives, just raw speed and metal. The Navy's over $200 million railgun fires solid steel at over 8,000 feet per second, tearing through ships like paper from nearly 100 miles away. But after years of jaw-dropping tests, this terrifying machine vanished. Why did the Navy suddenly shut down its most powerful weapon? And what secret danger forced them to walk away? Join us as the United States tests its railgun worth millions. The metal beast sits motionless on the testing platform, its twin rails gleaming under the harsh lights of the Naval Surface Warfare Center. This is no ordinary weapon. The electromagnetic railgun represents 15 years of military engineering and $500 million in taxpayer money. Its sleek barrel stretches forward like a cannon from the future. But inside, pure science replaces gunpowder and explosives. When the countdown reaches 0, invisible forces unleash their fury. Electromagnetic fields, generated by massive electrical currents, grab hold of a 7-pound projectile and accelerate it down those parallel rails. The speed builds instantly, faster than any traditional bullet, faster than most missiles. In less than a second, the projectile screams out of the barrel at 8,270 feet per second. That's more than 5 times faster than a rifle bullet. The destructive mathematics is terrifying. This projectile carries no explosives, no warhead, and no chemical energy. It doesn't need them. At hypersonic speeds, kinetic energy becomes the weapon. The faster something moves, the more devastating its impact. When a 7-pound chunk of metal strikes a target at these velocities, it delivers the same destructive force as a small artillery shell packed with high explosives. Navy engineers pushed their creation even further during years of testing. Early demonstrations showcased an 8-megajoule system firing projectiles with incredible precision. But the real monster was still coming, a planned 64-megajoule weapon system designed specifically for warships. The power requirements were staggering. Each shot would demand the same electrical energy that powers several city blocks. The weapon's range capabilities redefine naval warfare possibilities. Traditional ship cannons reach maybe 15 miles on a good day. The railgun could strike targets 100 miles away with pinpoint accuracy. Enemy ships, coastal installations, even aircraft, nothing within that massive radius would be safe from this electromagnetic hammer. Testing footage reveals the weapon's raw power. Each firing sequence begins with a low hum as capacitors charge with millions of volts. Then comes the moment of release, a brilliant flash, a thunderous crack, and the projectile vanishes into the distance faster than the human eye can track. The ocean becomes the only safe backdrop for these demonstrations. No military installation dares test this weapon anywhere near populated areas. The implications terrified and excited military planners in equal measure. Ships equipped with railguns could engage multiple targets simultaneously without worrying about ammunition storage or explosive safety. Traditional naval guns require tons of volatile gunpowder stored deep within a ship's hull, a floating bomb waiting for enemy fire to ignite it. Railguns eliminate that vulnerability. But the electromagnetic monster demanded a price that even the world's most powerful navy couldn't pay. The electrical requirements pushed ship power systems beyond their limits. Each shot drained enough energy to power a small town. The rails themselves wore out after relatively few firings, requiring constant replacement and maintenance. Heat buildup threatened to melt the weapon's core components. By 2021, reality overtook ambition. The Navy quietly shifted funding away from railgun development, focusing instead on hypersonic missiles and laser weapons. The electromagnetic beast that once promised to revolutionize naval combat became a $500 million lesson in the gap between theoretical possibility and practical deployment. But while America's electromagnetic dreams crumbled, another science fiction weapon was quietly proving its deadly potential. Could invisible beams of light become the Navy's ultimate defense? The USS Portland cuts through Pacific waters on May 16, 2020, its crew preparing for a test that would make naval history. High above the ship, a small drone buzzes through the morning air, unaware it's about to become the target of humanity's first operational laser weapon system at sea. The laser weapon system demonstrator sits mounted on the ship's deck, like a sleek telescope pointed at the sky. Inside its housing, solid-state laser diodes generate an invisible beam of concentrated light energy. Unlike the railgun's brute force approach, this weapon kills with precision and silence. No projectiles, no explosions, no ammunition to reload, just pure energy traveling at the speed of light. The targeting sequence begins as radar operators lock onto the drone's position. Computer systems calculate flight path, speed, and distance in milliseconds. The laser weapon swivels smoothly, tracking its target with mechanical precision. Then comes the moment that changes everything. The invisible beam reaches out across the sky and touches the drone. What happens next defies traditional warfare expectations. The drone doesn't explode in a dramatic fireball. Instead, its electronic systems simply die. Critical components overheat and fail as the laser's energy overwhelms delicate circuits. Within seconds, the unmanned aircraft tumbles from the sky like a broken toy, its threat neutralized without a single conventional weapon fired. The successful test sends shockwaves through military circles worldwide. For decades, science fiction promised laser weapons that could defend ships from incoming threats. The Portland's demonstration proves that the future has arrived. The solid-state laser system can engage multiple targets simultaneously, switching between threats faster than any human gunner could track them. Navy officials released carefully worded statements about the test's success, but the implications speak louder than any press release. Enemy drones, small boats, and even incoming missiles now face a defensive system that operates at light speed. Traditional countermeasures become useless against a weapon that strikes instantly across vast distances. The laser's versatility extends far beyond anti-aircraft duties. Small attack boats, the kind used by terrorist organizations and rogue nations, become sitting ducks against this technology. The beam can disable engines, destroy navigation equipment, or blind optical sensors without sinking the vessel entirely. This precision offers military commanders options beyond total destruction. Power requirements for laser weapons remain significant, but manageable compared to railguns. Modern warships generate enough electricity to operate these systems continuously without draining other critical functions. Heat management poses challenges, but engineers have developed cooling systems that keep the lasers operational during extended engagements. The cost advantages become clear quickly. Each laser shot costs roughly $1 in electricity. Compare that to million-dollar interceptor missiles traditionally used against aerial threats. A single laser weapon system can engage hundreds of targets for the price of one conventional missile intercept. International observers watch these developments with growing concern. Laser weapons represent a fundamental shift in naval power projection. Nations without access to this technology face obsolete fleets overnight. The balance of power at sea tilts decisively toward countries possessing these light-speed weapons. Military strategists recognize the broader implications immediately. Swarm attacks using dozens of cheap drones could previously overwhelm ship defenses through sheer numbers. Laser weapons flip that equation completely. Now expensive attack platforms become vulnerable to relatively inexpensive defensive systems that never run out of ammunition. While laser beams defend ships with light-speed precision, the Navy's most devastating weapons still rely on raw explosive power. But what happens when these 1,000-pound instruments of destruction need reloading in the middle of a battle? Deep in the missile compartments of Navy destroyers, ordnance crews prepare weapons that can reach targets over 1,000 miles away. The Tomahawk land attack missile sits secured in its vertical launch cell, a sleek white cylinder packed with enough explosive power to level city blocks. These cruise missiles represent the ultimate expression of long-range naval striking power. Each Tomahawk carries a sophisticated guidance system that uses terrain contour matching to navigate across vast distances. The missile flies low, hugging the Earth's surface to avoid enemy radar detection. Its jet engine pushes the weapon at subsonic speeds for hours, following pre-programmed routes loaded before launch. The Tomahawk's 1,000-mile reach transforms naval warfare strategy completely. Enemy targets that once felt safe hundreds of miles inland now face destruction from ships positioned far beyond the horizon. Coastal installations, command bunkers, and critical infrastructure all fall within this weapon's deadly embrace. 7 different variants of the missile provide commanders with options ranging from conventional explosives to specialized warheads designed for specific target types. Beneath the surface, submarines carry their own arsenal of destruction. The Mark 54 torpedo weighs over 1,000 pounds and packs enough Torpex explosive to crack a submarine's hull like an eggshell. Torpex, short for torpedo explosive, delivers 50% more destructive power than traditional TNT. These underwater assassins can track enemy submarines across distances of 10,000 yards, their sonar guidance systems hunting prey through the ocean depths. Surface vessels launch these torpedoes from deck-mounted tubes, sending them racing through the water at speeds that give enemy submarines little time to react or escape. The Mark 54's advanced guidance system can distinguish between different types of underwater targets, ensuring it strikes the intended vessel rather than friendly forces operating in the same area. But the Navy's most dangerous moment comes not during combat, but during the deadly process of rearming these weapons at sea. In calm harbors, massive cranes lift 1,000-pound missiles into their launch cells with mechanical precision. At sea, however, the ocean's constant motion turns this routine operation into a life-threatening gamble. Waves roll beneath the ship's hull, causing the deck to pitch and sway unpredictably. Sailors must guide missiles weighing more than half a ton into narrow launch tubes while fighting against gravity and momentum. One wrong move, one moment of lost concentration, and crushing death becomes inevitable. The Navy removed shipboard cranes years ago after too many accidents proved the danger too great to accept. Today's tensions with Russia and China make at-sea rearming operations more likely than ever before. Extended deployments in contested waters mean ships may need to reload their weapons far from friendly ports. Ordnance crews train constantly for these scenarios, knowing their lives depend on perfect execution under impossible conditions. The process begins in darkness to avoid enemy observation. Sailors wearing safety harnesses work in teams, using hand signals to communicate over the noise of wind and waves. Each missile must be lifted by human strength and mechanical winches, guided carefully into position while the ship rolls beneath their feet. Modern missiles like the Norwegian Naval Strike Missile add another layer of complexity to rearming operations. These weapons can engage both ships and land targets at ranges up to 345 miles. But their sophisticated electronics make them extremely sensitive to shock and impact during handling. Even with these devastating long-range weapons loaded and ready, enemy missiles can still penetrate deep into battle zones. So what happens when hostile projectiles break through and target the ships themselves? Modern naval warfare operates on a simple principle. Multiple layers of defense must work together, or the ship dies. When enemy missiles streak toward American warships at supersonic speeds, commanders have only minutes to deploy countermeasures that mean the difference between survival and destruction. The first line of defense begins hundreds of miles from the target ship. Norwegian naval strike missiles, mounted on Allied vessels, reach out across 345 miles of ocean to eliminate enemy launch platforms before they can fire. These precision weapons use advanced guidance systems to track moving targets across vast distances, striking enemy ships with devastating accuracy. Each naval strike missile carries enough explosive power to cripple or sink most enemy vessels with a single hit. The weapon's sophisticated targeting system can distinguish between different ship types, prioritizing high-value targets like aircraft carriers and command vessels. When multiple missiles launch simultaneously, they coordinate their attacks to overwhelm enemy defenses through synchronized strikes. As threats move closer, the second defensive layer activates. HIMARS rocket systems, traditionally designed for land-based artillery, have been adapted for ship-to-shore bombardment operations. These versatile launchers can fire multiple types of projectiles, from precision-guided rockets to long-range tactical missiles. The M142 high-mobility artillery rocket system proves its worth when enemy forces attempt amphibious landings or coastal bombardment. Each HIMARS pod contains 6 guided rockets or larger tactical missiles capable of striking targets with pinpoint accuracy. The system's rapid-fire capability allows ships to saturate enemy positions with devastating firepower in minutes. But the most critical moments come when enemy missiles penetrate these outer defenses and race toward their targets at speeds exceeding the sound barrier. Ship-based radar systems track incoming threats while computers calculate impact trajectories in engagement windows. Seconds count as the final layer of defense prepares to engage. The Phalanx close-in weapons system represents the last hope for survival. This automated defense system combines sophisticated radar tracking with a 6-barrel Gatling cannon capable of firing 4,500 rounds per minute. The weapon's nickname, Sea Whiz, comes from the distinctive buzzing sound its spinning barrels create during firing. Phalanx operates completely independently of human control once activated. Its radar dome rotates constantly, scanning for incoming threats within a 5-mile radius. When hostile missiles enter the engagement zone, the system locks on and unleashes a stream of 20mm tungsten projectiles designed to shred incoming warheads. The Gatling cannon's rate of fire creates a wall of metal in the sky. Each tungsten round travels fast enough to penetrate missile casings and detonate warheads safely away from the ship. The system can engage multiple targets simultaneously, switching between threats in milliseconds as its computer brain prioritizes the most dangerous incoming missiles. Engagement ranges remain deliberately short to avoid hitting friendly aircraft or missiles. The Phalanx fires only when enemy projectiles close to within 1 to 5 miles of the protected vessel. At these distances, the system has mere seconds to identify, track, and destroy threats before they impact. Modern anti-ship missiles travel at speeds that compress engagement windows to almost nothing. A missile flying at Mach 3 covers the Phalanx's maximum engagement range in less than 10 seconds. The automated system must detect, track, calculate, and fire without human intervention, relying entirely on computer processing power and mechanical precision. When ship-based defenses reach their limits, the ultimate response launches from carrier decks at supersonic speeds. But what happens when humanity's most advanced killing machines become too powerful for their creators to control? The flight deck of the U.S. Gerald R. Ford pulses with activity as red-suited ordnance crews prepare the deadliest aircraft ever deployed at sea. F-35 Lightning II fighters sit lined up like sleeping predators, their stealth profiles designed to slip past enemy radar undetected. These fifth-generation fighter jets represent the pinnacle of airborne warfare technology. Each F-35 costs over $100 million and carries sensors capable of detecting threats from hundreds of miles away. The aircraft's stealth coating absorbs radar waves, making it nearly invisible to enemy tracking systems until weapons release. Advanced computer systems process battlefield information faster than human pilots can comprehend, turning each jet into a flying supercomputer armed with precision munitions. The ordnance crews work with mechanical precision, their bright red uniforms making them instantly recognizable on the busy carrier deck. These specialists handle weapons that could level city blocks, loading guided bombs and air-to-air missiles onto aircraft with practiced efficiency. Each crew member trains for years to safely manage explosives, powerful enough to sink enemy warships or destroy hardened military installations. Modern naval aviation operates on a scale that dwarfs previous generations of warfare. A single F-35 can carry multiple precision-guided munitions, each capable of striking targets with surgical accuracy from distances exceeding 100 miles. The jet's internal weapons bay conceals these deadly payloads from enemy sensors, maintaining stealth characteristics throughout combat missions. The loading process reveals the raw, destructive potential these aircraft carry. Guided bombs weighing 2,000 pounds slide into internal weapon compartments, their guidance systems programmed to strike specific buildings or vehicles with pinpoint accuracy. Air-to-air missiles designed to destroy enemy fighters beyond visual range mount beneath the wings, their seekers calibrated to track heat signatures or radar emissions. Flight operations begin before dawn as pilots prepare for missions that could reshape global conflicts. The F-35's helmet-mounted display system projects targeting information directly onto the pilot's visor, allowing weapon engagement without traditional cockpit instruments. This integration of human and machine creates unprecedented combat effectiveness, but also raises disturbing questions about the direction of modern warfare. As these advanced weapons systems become more capable, military planners acknowledge growing concerns about their ultimate implications. The F-35 program alone costs over $400 billion, representing the most expensive weapon system in human history. Nations worldwide scramble to develop countermeasures for aircraft that outclass previous fighter generations by enormous margins. The rapid pace of military technological advancement accelerates each year. Weapons that seemed impossible a decade ago now deploy operationally across global conflict zones. Artificial intelligence integration promises even more dramatic capabilities, with autonomous systems beginning to make targeting decisions without human oversight. Naval aviation crews witness this evolution firsthand as new weapons arrive faster than training programs can adapt. Missiles with ranges exceeding 200 miles allow single aircraft to engage multiple targets simultaneously. Electronic warfare systems can disable entire enemy communication networks from hundreds of miles away. The destructive potential concentrated on modern carrier decks equals the firepower of entire armies from previous wars. This exponential growth in military capability creates paradoxical situations where even the operators express unease about their tools. Veteran pilots describe weapons so advanced that they fundamentally alter the nature of aerial combat. Young ordnance crews handle munitions powerful enough to trigger international incidents with single targeting mistakes. The psychological impact extends beyond military personnel to civilian populations worldwide. Nations without access to fifth-generation fighters face obsolete air forces overnight. Regional power balances shift dramatically as advanced weapon systems concentrate in the hands of technological superpowers. International observers watch these developments with mounting anxiety, recognizing that weapons designed for deterrence may eventually prove too tempting to leave unused. The hope remains that such devastating capabilities will never face full operational deployment, but history suggests otherwise. The United States Navy just revealed its newly built deadly vessel. Beginning with the creation of the USS Gerald R. Ford, the U.S. has set the pace for the production of powerful warships, and this nation just unveiled another sea beast. With a mind-boggling price tag of $550 million, this vessel is a perfect combination of stealth, power, and lethality, dominating the sea with its advanced technology. Why is this new vessel so unique? What is the capability and features of this new sea beast? Join us as we reveal the new deadly ship that the United States is building. The United States is known to stop at nothing regarding the production of deadly military arsenals, including its warships. Renowned for the development of the largest ship ever, this nation has set a higher standard, and just as you imagine, this standard is not one that is easily attained. Not many nations can invest $550 million into the development of ships. Let's begin with the features of one of the most feared United States aircraft carrier, the USS Gerald R. Ford. The warship stands out not only as the largest aircraft carrier ever built, but also as the most advanced and powerful. Commissioned in July 2017, this ship features advanced technologies such as electromagnetic catapults, modern weapons elevators, and advanced radar systems, all designed to provide the U.S. Navy with unmatched strategic dominance. These innovations represent a significant progress from the older Nimitz-class carriers, which were developed in 1968 and have been in service for over 50 years. In the name of advanced technologies, this USS Gerald R. Ford, named after the 38th President of the United States, boasts numerous advanced features. It has dual-band radar combining X-band and S-band phased arrays for superior tracking and targeting capabilities in various mission-critical environments. Its electromagnetic aircraft launch system uses an electric motor to better control acceleration, reducing stress on aircraft and pilots while providing more flexibility in wind conditions during takeoff. In terms of armaments, this warship is equipped with surface-to-air missiles, including 2 Mark 29 launchers with 8 Evolved Sea Sparrow missiles each, and 2 Mark 49 launchers with 21 rolling airframe missiles each. Additionally, it features 3 Phalanx CIWs, 4 25mm machine gun systems, and 450 caliber machine guns for robust self-defense. One of the newest systems on the CVN-78 is the Advanced Arresting Gear, which uses electromagnets instead of hydraulics to slow and stop landing aircraft. This system is more flexible, safe, reliable, and requires less maintenance and fewer crew members compared to the older hydraulic systems, making it suitable for both manned and unmanned aircraft. The USS Gerald R. Ford is powered by two A-1B nuclear reactors, which are smaller, simpler, require fewer crew members, and produce significantly more power than the Nimitz-class A-4W reactors. This increased power generation supports the ship's advanced systems and leaves room for future technological upgrades, ensuring the carrier remains at the forefront of naval warfare well into the 22nd century. The ship also has stealth features to reduce radar visibility and can carry up to 90 aircraft, including the Boeing F/A-18EF Super Hornet, Boeing EA-18G Growler, Grumman C-2 Greyhound, Northrop Grumman E-2 Hawkeye, Lockheed Martin F-35C, Lightning II, Sikorsky SH-60 Seahawk helicopters, and unmanned combat aerial vehicles. Its design allows for the handling of up to 160 flights per day over extended periods, with a maximum capacity of 270 flights per day. The Gerald R. Ford class carriers are being built to replace the outdated Nimitz class. This new class includes the USS John F. Kennedy, or CVN-79, set to be commissioned in 2025, the USS Enterprise, or CVN-80, scheduled for 2028, the USS Doris Miller, or CVN-81, planned for 2033, and the CVN-82, expected in 2036. These ships are named in accordance with the historical U.S. Navy ship naming conventions set by Congress in 1862, with further clarifications by President Theodore Roosevelt in 1907. Now to the United States Navy's newest warship, the USS Zumwalt, or DDG-1000. This warship is the largest and most technologically advanced surface combatant in the world. Also, it is the lead ship of a class of next-generation multi-mission destroyers designed to strengthen naval power from the sea. These ships feature a state-of-the-art electric propulsion system, a wave-piercing tumble-home hull, stealth design, and the latest warfighting technology and weaponry. This destroyer can perform a mind-blowing range of deterrence, power projection, sea control, and command and control missions while maintaining its stealth, making it difficult to detect whether close to shore or far out at sea. These warships possess stealth, size, power, survivability systems, and computing capacity that provide the Navy with the ability to meet maritime missions at sea now, as well as incorporate new technologies to meet emerging security environments. The advanced technologies of the DDG-1000 class create versatility, allowing for sustained operations in littoral zones and land attacks, supporting special operations forces, and operating as an integral part of joint and combined expeditionary forces. Its multi-mission design and littoral capabilities make it a globally deployable asset to the fleet and any combatant command. The construction on this formidable warship began in February 2009, with the ship launching on October 29, 2013. The ship is currently conducting hull, mechanical, and electrical tests and trials, followed by a period for combat and mission system equipment installation, activation, and testing. DDG-1001 was named Michael Mansour in October 2008 by then Secretary of the Navy Donald Winter, in honor of Petty Officer Second Class Michael Mansour. A Navy SEAL posthumously awarded the Medal of Honor for his heroic actions in Ramadi, Iraq on September 29, 2009. The fabrication for DDG-1001 started in October 2009, and in July 2014, Huntington Ingalls Industries delivered the DDG-1001 composite deckhouse to the Navy. In April 2012, DDG-1002 was named Lyndon B. Johnson by Secretary of the Navy Ray Mabuse, honoring the nation's 36th president and continuing the tradition of naming ships after presidents. Fabrication for DDG-1002 began on April 4, 2012. DDG-1000 is the first United States Navy surface combatant to employ an innovative and highly survivable integrated power system. This system provides power to propulsion, ship service, and combat system loads from the same gas turbine prime movers, allowing significant energy savings and enabling future high-energy weapons and sensors. The wave-piercing tumble-home ship design significantly reduces cross-section and acoustic output, making the ship harder to detect by enemies. The design also allows for optimal manning with a standard crew size of 175 sailors and an air detachment of 28, thereby decreasing life cycle operations and support costs. This warship employs active and passive sensors and a multi-function radar capable of conducting area air surveillance, including overland throughout the difficult sea-land interface. Each ship features 2 advanced gun systems firing long-range land attack projectiles that reach up to 63 nautical miles, providing a 3-fold range improvement in naval surface fires coverage. The company, General Dynamics Bath Iron Works, also known as BIW, is responsible for the design, construction, integration, testing, and delivery of the DDG-1000 class and DDG-1002 steel deckhouse, hangar, and aft peripheral vertical launch system, while Huntington Ingalls Industries handles the fabrication of the composite deckhouse, helo hangar, and aft PVLS for DDG-1000 and DDG-1001. Another formidable company, Raytheon, is responsible for software development and integration, with BAE providing the AGS and LRLAP PUO ships, and its industry partners work diligently to mature the ship's design and ready industrial facilities, ensuring this advanced surface combatant is built on cost and on schedule. At 85% complete, the DDG-1000 design was more mature at the start of fabrication than any lead surface combatant in history. Other nations around the world are making progressive strides in developing ships, but the question is, can they ever be in the same class with the United States' most formidable sea beasts? Let's begin with the Russian aircraft carrier. The Admiral Flota Sovetskogo Soyuza Kuznetsov stands as a formidable symbol of Russian naval power. This aircraft carrier, classified in Russia as a heavy aircraft cruiser, serves as the flagship of the Russian Navy. It was constructed by the Black Sea Shipyard and is also the sole producer of the Soviet aircraft carrier. This formidable aircraft was launched in 1985 and became fully operational in 1995. Initially named Riga, it was launched as Leonid Brezhnev, embarked on sea trials as Tbilisi, and ultimately received its current name in honor of Admiral of the Fleet of the Soviet Union, Nikolai Gerasimovich Kuznetsov. Unfortunately, this ship faces several challenges. Currently undergoing repairs, this carrier is significantly less advanced than the USS Gerald R. Ford. It uses steam turbines for propulsion and features a ski jump ramp for aircraft takeoff, which is less efficient than the electromagnetic catapults on the Gerald R. Ford. The Kuznetsov has been plagued by mechanical issues, including a fire in 2019, and has spent much of the past decade in dry dock. Russia's plans for a new aircraft carrier, Project 23,000E, or Storm, is a ship that could potentially rival the Gerald R. Ford. The Storm class is proposed to weigh around 90,000 to 100,000 tons, with a length of approximately 330 meters and a width of 40 meters. This new ship would be powered by a nuclear reactor and feature advanced systems, including electromagnetic catapults and anti-aircraft defenses. However, as of 2020, this project has not been approved, and it remains uncertain if it will be prioritized given the significant financial investment required. Moving on to China's Type 094 submarine. There are 6 of these submarines in the Chinese growing fleet, and each of them is equipped with 12 missile launchers and a total of 72 missiles. As part of China's nuclear defense, at least 4 of these submarines, possibly all, are based on Hainan Island in the South China Sea and regularly patrol there. To protect its submarines from foreign anti-submarine forces, China plans to use the South China Sea as a safe zone for its submarines. The submarine's main designer was Zhang Zhenlin, and its design is likely based on or was inspired by the Type 093 nuclear-powered attack submarine. A Type 094 was seen in satellite photos in late 2006 at the Xiaopingdao submarine base. The first one was commissioned in 2007, and 6 were in service by 2020. They began nuclear deterrence patrols in December 2015. According to the U.S. Department of Defense, The Type 094 is China's first credible sea-based nuclear deterrent. Initially, they were armed with 12 JL-2 missiles, each with a single warhead, and were capable of reaching parts of Alaska from near China. By late 2022, the submarines were equipped with JL-3 missiles, which can reach the continental United States from the South China Sea with reported ranges of over 10,000 kilometers. Let's delve into the capabilities of this missile. The Zhulong-2, also known as the JL-2, is a submarine-launched ballistic missile with a range of approximately 4,464 miles, as reported by the Congressional Research Service. This range enables Chinese submarines to target parts of Alaska from locations near China. However, to strike the east coast of the United States, these submarines would need to venture into waters east of Hawaii. The situation changed significantly with the introduction of the JL-3, a more advanced and longer-range missile now equipped on Chinese submarines. The JL-3, according to some American press sources, may have a range exceeding 6,200 miles and is designed with the potential to extend its range if necessary. This advancement allows China to potentially target the United States from the relative safety of the South China Sea. If Chinese submarines were to patrol the Bay of Bohai, they could threaten most of North and South Dakota, as well as Montana, Oregon, Washington, Nevada, Utah, and California. Targeting the rest of the United States would require Chinese submarines to move beyond Japan and Taiwan into the Western Pacific, where they would be vulnerable to anti-submarine warfare forces, as Chinese air and naval forces couldn't provide adequate protection. Despite these advancements, Chinese missile submarines are still noisier compared to their American counterparts, making solo operations challenging. A Chinese researcher in 2004 took note of the fact that the submarine's noise level was around 120 decibels, comparable to the Los Angeles-class submarine. In 2009, the United States Navy's Office of Naval Intelligence reported that the Type 094 was noisier than Soviet-Russian submarines from the late 1980s. In 2015, Australian researchers Brendan Thomas Noon and Rory Medcalf observed that the noise and the range of the JL-2 missiles limited its effectiveness for striking the United States, but not India. China has not officially announced the commissioning of the JL-3 missiles. This information comes from American sources and estimates. Chinese military experts argue that the development of these missiles is a defensive measure against nuclear threats. They believe that the United States military speculation is based on misleading information that is intended to justify increasing the U.S. defense budget and military presence in the Asia-Pacific region, particularly in light of the Russia-Ukraine conflict, by exaggerating China's routine defense advancements. It's important to note that the United States, Russia, and China are not the only nations in the game of developing powerful sea beasts. With that, let's move on to the big whale from Japan. The 29 SS, or Taigi, is the newest addition to Japan's military collection. This formidable carrier boasts 7 other submarines in its fleet, and surprisingly, the fleets are named after a large fish that dominate the large expanse of water bodies. For instance, the second boat, which is referred to as Hakugo, as in the white whale. Then there is the third fleet, which is also named after the fastest whale, Jingai. This non-nuclear submarine was accepted into the Navy on the 9th of March, 2022. It is a diesel-electric submarine of a new type, and also the first in its series. If you are wondering why Japan's submarine is not a nuclear weapon, or if it has any nuclear weapons in its possession, your curiosity has been rightly piqued. This new carrier boasts a modern system and a combination of ideas that were previously considered obsolete. While that sounds weird and would make you wonder why Japan has resorted to something archaic, this obsolete idea is the use of an air-dependent Stirling engine. Stirling engine is an external combustion engine and is very different from the internal combustion engine that can be found in other renowned submarines. The difference in these engines is that the working body is in the cylinder and does not require fuel, but instead receives heat from outside, which makes it expand and push the cylinder piston. The anaerobic Stirling engine allows more freedom of action for the submarine than the diesel-electric scheme. But such an engine has one major disadvantage. It makes more noise, and this feature has reduced its ability to be stealthy. The Taigi-class submarines have a similar hull design to the Soryu class, but are a bit heavier by 100 tons. They are more advanced with newer gear like sonar systems and a snorkel power generation system. They'll also use lithium-ion batteries like the JS Oru and JS Toru submarines. Plus, they'll use the Type 18 torpedo, an upgraded version of the Type 89 torpedo. These lithium-ion batteries are superior to traditional and regular lead-acid batteries. However, these batteries come with a disadvantage. First of all, it is extremely expensive to purchase, and also, these batteries emit heat during charging and discharging, and in the event of a violation of operating modes, it can emit toxic vapor. All this places special demands on the equipment of battery pits, on which the survivability and stability of the ship and the lives of its crew depend. The new Taizhou submarine is similar to the two previous diesel-electric submarines of the Soryu type in its external shape and layout, but has a larger displace. The last sea beast we would be exploring is from Israel. The Sa'ar 6 class corvettes are an irreplaceable addition to Israel's naval fleet. With a full load displacement of nearly 1 ton and a length of 90 meters, these corvettes are a force to be reckoned with in naval vessels. These corvettes have advanced weaponry and systems, making them well-suited for various mission profiles. Their armament includes the impressive Otto Melara 76mm main gun, 2 Typhoon weapon stations, 16 vertical launch cells designed for Barak 8 surface-to-air missiles, and 40 cells allocated for the Sea Dome point defense system. These capabilities provide robust air defense and missile interception capabilities. To bolster their naval warfare capabilities, the corvettes are armed with 16 Gabriel 5 anti-ship missiles, known for their precision and range. Additionally, the corvettes feature the EL/M2248 MF-STAR AESA radar, which enhances situational awareness and target tracking. For anti-submarine warfare, these corvettes are equipped with 2 324mm torpedo launchers, adding a vital undersea threat response capability to their arsenal. These versatile vessels also offer hangar space and a platform capable of accommodating a medium-class SH-60 type helicopter. This feature significantly enhances their maritime surveillance, reconnaissance, and anti-submarine warfare capabilities by extending their operational reach beyond the horizon. Israel welcomed the first of the Sa'ar 6 class corvettes, INS Magan, on 11 December 2020, marking a significant milestone in their naval capabilities. The second corvette, INS Oz, was officially handed over by ThyssenKrupp Marine Systems on 4 May 2021. On 27 July 2021, the Israeli Navy received the final 2 ships of the class, INS Atzmaut and INS Nitzachon. It's noteworthy that the Israeli Navy planned to further equip these vessels with radar and weapon systems upon their arrival in Israel. In a ceremonial event held in Haifa in September 2022, the 76/62 rapid-fire main gun for the first 2 ships of the Sa'ar 6 class corvettes was officially accepted. These corvettes have become an integral part of Israel's maritime defense strategy, combining sophisticated weaponry and technology in a formidable naval platform. Their versatility, firepower, and advanced systems make them valuable assets for safeguarding Israel's maritime interests and national security. China has deployed a powerful weapon into the skies, and even the United States' most formidable ships are not safe. Recently, the growing threats from unmanned aerial vehicles have increased at an alarming rate, and now the United States has finally done something about it. To defend itself against the threats that these aircraft pose, the U.S. has equipped its ships with the deadliest weapons in the world. What are the capabilities of these weapons? Are they formidable enough to protect these aircraft carriers from the growing aerial threats? Join us as we explore the features of some of the deadliest weapons that U.S. Navy ships have been equipped with. The United States Navy is renowned for being the largest and most powerful naval force in the world. With over 90,000 active personnel and around 484 warships, the U.S. Navy plays a crucial role in America's military power and national defense. A vital part of the USN's strength is its fleet of 11 nuclear-powered aircraft carriers, including the advanced Gerald R. Ford class and the Nimitz class. These carriers function as mobile air bases, offering exceptional versatility and combat capabilities to deploy air forces anywhere in the world. Each carrier is supported by a strike group of destroyers, cruisers, and submarines, forming a strong maritime force. The United States Navy's surface fleet includes approximately 70 Arleigh Burke-class destroyers and 22 Ticonderoga-class cruisers, both equipped with the Aegis combat system. This advanced system provides excellent air defense, anti-submarine warfare, and ballistic missile defense with sophisticated radar and missile technology. Additionally, the littoral combat ships add flexibility and speed, especially in coastal regions. Another important part of the U.S. Navy is its submarine fleet, which includes both fast attack submarines and ballistic missile submarines. The Virginia-class SSNs are designed for stealth, reconnaissance, and striking capabilities, while the Ohio-class SSBNs play a crucial role in the U.S. nuclear deterrent strategy. Recently, these warships have been under serious threats from advanced technology like drones and other stealth unmanned aircraft. On October 4, the USS Gerald R. Ford, the newest United States aircraft carrier, set sail for its first deployment amid increasing tensions in the Pacific and uncertainty about the future role of such large ships in warfare. Standing over 9 stories tall and weighing 97,000 tons, 32,000 tons more than the largest Second World War battleships, the Ford is impressive in size. However, it is also fast, powered by advanced A-1B nuclear reactors that give it about 300 megawatts of power, making it nearly 3 times more powerful than current supercarriers. Despite its strength, new anti-ship missiles from China, capable of speeds above Mach 5, pose a significant threat to the Ford and the entire Navy fleet in the Pacific. These missiles could potentially destroy the most advanced ships, similar to how Japan used new attack planes during the Second World War to sink powerful US and British battleships. To battle these new threats, the Navy is employing modern long-range weapons, including universal ship installations, railguns, and lasers, which may change future warfare. Let's explore some of these technologies that would defend these expensive and important ships against aerial threats. Let's start with a special type of gun, the OTO Malera 76. This 76mm gun, also called the OTO 76/62 gun mount, is a naval autocannon made by the Italian company OTO Malera. This gun is small enough to fit on smaller warships. It has a fast firing rate and can use different types of ammunition, making it effective for close-range defense against missiles, aircraft, surface targets, and ground support. The ammo includes armor-piercing, incendiary, and guided rounds designed to target moving anti-ship missiles. It can also be hidden in a stealthy dome. One of the key features of the OTO Malera 76mm gun is its ability to perform multiple roles, including short-range anti-missile defense, anti-aircraft operations, and ground support. The gun's high rate of fire, combined with a diverse range of available ammunition, enhances its effectiveness in various combat situations. The cooling system of this gun utilizes seawater, while fresh water is used for flushing. For its electrical power supply, the gun operates on a main circuit of 4-voltage, 3-phase, and 60 Hz, along with a servo and synchro network operating at 115 voltage, 1-phase, and 400 Hz. This electrical configuration ensures that the gun operates efficiently under various conditions. The OTO Malera 76mm gun has several notable variants, each designed to meet specific operational requirements. The original compact variant features a circular dome and has a firing rate of 85 rounds per minute. In the early 1980s, the super rapid version was introduced, which includes a diagonal dome and a significantly faster firing rate of 120 rounds per minute, achieved through an advanced feed system. This enhanced rate of fire makes the super rapid variant particularly effective in high-pressure combat situations. The Strail system is another significant improvement to the OTO Malera 76mm gun. The Italian Navy favors this variant due to its enhanced capabilities in anti-missile defense, particularly when equipped with dart ammunition, which allows it to counter several subsonic missiles at ranges of up to 8,000 meters. This medium-caliber gun is also effective against surface targets, showcasing its versatility on the battlefield. Another innovative development is the 76/62 Sovraponte, a new compact and lightweight mount for the 76/62 gun. This system is approximately 30 to 40% lighter than the standard Super Rapid and can be installed without penetrating the deck below. It houses 76 ready-to-fire rounds and is available for sale with or without the Strail system. The Sovraponte mount was first installed on the Theon de Revel class patrol vessel of the Italian Navy. positioned above the helicopter hangar, emphasizing its compact design. To enhance the gun's versatility, OTO Melara provides a wide range of specialized ammunition suitable for various combat roles. The available types include high-explosive standard rounds, which weigh 6.296 kilograms and have a range of 16 kilometers. Other ammunition types include the multi-role OTO munition, anti-missile projectiles with proximity fuses and tungsten balls for fragmentation, and semi-armor-piercing SAPOM rounds, which have a range of 16 kilometers. The guided dart projectile is designed for engaging maneuvering aerial and missile targets, while the Volcano guided projectile, weighing 5 kilograms, can reach a range of approximately 40 kilometers. The fire control systems of the OTO Melara 76mm gun have also seen significant advancements over the years. Early versions, such as the compact model, utilized the RTN-10X Orion radar. Later, in the early 1980s, the more advanced RTN-30X radar was introduced. This new system is capable of managing various calibers, including 40mm, 76mm, and 127mm, as well as missiles like the Sea Sparrow and Aspide. The RTN-30X system first enters service with the Italian Navy on the Garibaldi cruiser and has since been equipped on numerous destroyers and frigates. The OTO Melara 76mm gun is a versatile and widely adopted naval autocannon that has undergone significant evolution since its inception, with its various models, including the compact, super rapid, and Sovraponte, along with an extensive range of ammunition and advanced fire control systems. The gun remains a crucial asset for modern naval forces. Its ability to perform multiple roles, combined with innovative design features, ensures that it will continue to play a vital role in naval operations for years to come. Another weapon is the Phalanx CIWS. It is an automatic gun system used to protect military ships from threats like aircraft, missiles, and small boats. It was designed by General Dynamics, now part of Raytheon. The system features a radar-guided 20mm Vulcan cannon that can swivel to target incoming threats. The Phalanx is used by the U.S. Navy and 15 other countries, being deployed on almost all U.S. surface combat ships except the Zumwalt-class destroyer and San Antonio-class amphibious transport dock. Other users include the British Royal Navy, the Royal Australian Navy, the Royal New Zealand Navy, the Royal Canadian Navy, and the U.S. Coast Guard. A land version called the LPWS, or Land Phalanx Weapon System, was created as part of the counter-rocket, artillery, and mortar system. It was used to defend against rocket, artillery, and mortar attacks during the U.S. withdrawal from Afghanistan in 2021. The U.S. Navy also uses the CRAM system, which combines the RIM-116 rolling airframe missile with sensors similar to those in the Phalanx. It was developed as a last line of defense against incoming threats, including anti-ship missiles, aircraft, and small boats. The first prototype was tested by the U.S. Navy on the destroyer leader USS King in 1973. After improvements were made for better performance and reliability, the Phalanx operational suitability model passed its tests on the destroyer USS Bigelow in 1977. This model met all maintenance and reliability standards, leading to its production approval in 1978. The first orders included 23 for the U.S. Navy and 14 for foreign military systems. The first fully equipped ship was the aircraft carrier USS Coral Sea in 1980, and the Navy began installing CIWS systems on non-combatant vessels in 1984. The Phalanx system is built around the 20mm M61 Vulcan rotary cannon, which the U.S. military has used on different aircraft since 1959. It uses a Ku-band fire control radar system to find and track targets. The system is mounted on a base that can quickly move up and down and side to side to follow incoming threats. This unit includes the gun, an automated fire control system, and other main parts, allowing it to automatically search for, detect, track, and engage targets using its computer-controlled radar. Its self-contained design makes it perfect for support ships, which usually don't have advanced targeting systems and have limited sensors. Phalanx CIWS units are sometimes nicknamed R2-D2 because of their round radar shape and automated function, resembling the droid from the Star Wars movies. In April 2017, Raytheon tested a new electric gun for the Phalanx, allowing it to fire at different rates to save ammunition. This new design replaces the pneumatic motor, compressor, and storage tanks, reducing the system's weight by 180 pounds while improving reliability and lowering operating costs. The United States has also invested in futuristic weapons to make these aircraft carriers more formidable. Some of these weapons include railguns and even laser weapons. A railgun, also known as a rail cannon, is a type of weapon that uses electromagnetic force to shoot projectiles at very high speeds. Unlike traditional weapons, the projectiles usually do not have explosives. Instead, they rely on their high kinetic energy to cause damage. A railgun has two parallel metal tracks and uses an electrical current to accelerate a sliding piece between them. This works similarly to how a homopolar motor operates. As of 2020, research has focused on using railguns as weapons because they can launch projectiles with much higher speeds compared to regular guns. Traditional guns can typically shoot projectiles at speeds up to about 2 kilometers per second, while railguns can easily reach speeds over 3 kilometers per second. This higher speed can give railgun projectiles a longer range and more destructive power, which depends on their kinetic energy when they hit a target. Since railguns do not need explosive propellants, the projectiles are also cheaper and safer to handle. However, railguns are still mostly in the research phase, despite many years of development. It is unclear if they will become practical military weapons soon. Any comparison between electromagnetic propulsion systems and traditional chemical propellants must consider factors like durability, availability, cost, and the complexity of the power supplies needed for electromagnetic launchers. How do these railguns work? A railgun has two parallel metal tracks, which is where it gets its name. One end of the rails connects to an electrical power supply, forming the back end of the gun. When a conductive projectile is placed between the rails, it completes the circuit. This allows electrons to flow from the power supply through one rail across the projectile and down the other rail back to the power supply. This flow of electricity makes the railgun act like an electromagnet, creating a magnetic field between the rails. According to the right-hand rule, the magnetic field moves around each rail. Since the electric current flows in opposite directions along the rails, the overall magnetic field between them pushes the projectile forward along the rails toward the front end of the gun. While there are forces trying to push the rails apart, they are held tightly in place so they do not move. If a current of 1 ampere flows through two long parallel wires 1 meter apart, the force on each wire will be 0.2 micronewtons. In general, the force increases with the square of the current and decreases with the distance between the wires. For railguns that shoot projectiles weighing a few kilograms and with a few meter-long barrel, very large currents are needed to reach speeds around 1,000 meters per second. A huge power supply capable of delivering around 1 million amperes of current can create a strong force that accelerates the projectile to speeds of several kilometers per second. However, these high speeds generate a lot of heat that can quickly wear out the rails. Railguns would need frequent rail replacements or the use of special heat-resistant materials. Experts agree that significant advances in material science are needed to create powerful railguns that can shoot more than a few times before needing new rails. The barrel must withstand this pressure for many rounds without breaking down. The power supply must provide large currents consistently and safely for a useful time. The most important measure of a power supply's effectiveness is how much energy it can deliver. As of December 2010, the highest energy used to fire a projectile from a railgun was 33 megajoules. Common power supplies for railguns include capacitors and compulsators, which charge slowly from other energy sources. The rails must handle strong forces during firing, which can push them apart from the projectile. If the gap between the rails and projectile increases, it can create arcs of electricity that damage the rail surfaces. This limited early railguns to only one shot at a time. The efficiency of a railgun is also limited by the inductance and resistance of the rails and power supply. Different rail shapes and designs are being tested, particularly by the US Navy and other research institutions. The rails and projectiles need to be made of strong conductive materials that can withstand the stress of firing. Some research incorrectly suggested that the recoil force in railguns could be redirected, but careful analysis shows that recoil acts on the breech closure just like in traditional guns. The rails also repel each other due to a sideways force from the magnetic field, just like the projectile. They need to be securely mounted to avoid bending. Major improvements in material science are needed before rails can be made, that allow railguns to fire more than a few full-power shots before needing replacement. Railguns generate a lot of heat from the electricity flowing through the rails and the friction when the projectile exits. This creates three main problems: melting of parts, safety risks for personnel, and detection by enemy forces due to the increased heat signature. Firing such a device requires materials that can handle extreme heat. If not, the rails and other equipment could melt or be damaged. Most railgun designs experience erosion of the rails with each shot. Projectiles may also suffer some wear, which can limit the railgun's lifespan significantly. While the railgun technology is under the research phase, the United States has made a lot of progress with its research on laser systems. Let's check out the features and capabilities of one. The United States Navy's High-Energy Laser Counter Anti-Ship Cruise, or HELCAP missile project, is getting closer to transitioning its developed technology into an operational system. Currently, one San Antonio-class amphibious transport ship is equipped with a 150-kilowatt Mark II Mod 0 laser weapon system demonstrator. Additionally, 8 Arleigh Burke-class destroyers have the optical Dazzler interdictor Navy, and one destroyer has the 60-kilowatt high-energy laser with integrated optical Dazzler and surveillance or Helios system. HELCAP is different from these systems, which are designed for counterintelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance by dazzling or destroying unmanned aerial systems. HELCAP specifically targets anti-ship cruise missiles in a crossing scenario, meaning it can defend against missiles aimed at nearby friendly ships. The U.S. Navy started HELCAP in 2019 after the ruggedized high-energy laser Phase 1. HELCAP aims to address technical issues that laser weapons face, like advanced beam control, effects of atmospheric turbulence, precision tracking in cluttered environments, and automatic target identification and aiming. The results from HELCAP and years of technology development will come together to create the laser weapon testbed central to HELCAP. This testbed will use a 300-plus kilowatt laser developed under the High Energy Laser Scaling Initiative, which has funded teams to deliver these powerful lasers. The laser will be combined with a prototype beam control system created by the Navy and integrated with a power and cooling system. The LWT will be tested at the White Sands Missile Range this year, and the initial test will focus on the system's beam control, tracking, and optics performance. Afterward, it will be tested against increasingly complex targets, starting with stationary ground targets, then moving targets, and eventually low-cost unmanned aerial targets in cruise missile surrogates. Once completed, this program will help improve future systems based on the Surface Navy Laser Weapon System Increment 1. Currently, there are no plans for the program to leave behind any assets or prototypes for ship integration. Thanks for watching. While you are still here, click on the link on your screen to check out another of our videos. See you there.